Hello everybody. Today is Sunday the 18th of November and we're doing the bull market watch live stream, a little bit different time of the day. And we'll get started in a second here. Here we are looking at the price of Bitcoin XBT on BitMEX. Let me put the Bitfinex chart in behind it. And we're looking at the 12-hour bars, so we can see what happened over the month of August and September and October. We had little Bart Simpson formation, and then through October and then early November, Bitcoin did a serious dip and really broke below important technical levels from all the way along 2018, even stretching back to the last year in October of 2017. So it was a really important technical level that prices broke down from. But now everything seems to have stabled out a little bit. And if we're starting to look at the RSI, we can see that the RSI is diverging from the prices a bit and showing some strength where the price is actually making a bowl shape formation and may tick up from here. And it's hard to say what will go on after that. But the purpose of today's show now is to go through all of the currencies again and to mark up our sheet to show where they are and to get a better sense of what's coming up with in relation to the bull market that we're watching for here. So this is an ongoing study that we've been doing for quite a while now, since the beginning of September. And one thing I want to announce, and I'll put this in the chat in a second, is a new live stream I've put together with the help of donations from people in our trading community. I went and purchased a bot, and it was the least expensive bot there was out there. And I was always interested in arbitrage, so I bought an arbitrage bot, and it's running right now. We can see that it's done 3 arbitrage trades, 2 of them today and 1 yesterday. And I'll keep updating as to what those triangle trades are and how successful this bot is over time. And on this page you can see I've got the US national debt, just to have a contrast between cryptos and not cryptos. Now we're seeing here on the live stream shorts getting liquidated. We can see what kind of delay. It's actually pretty good for the lag there on this live stream. So let me share this live stream in the chat. If you guys are on Twitch, go there and you can follow this channel and then check in on it every once in a while to see what the bot is doing. I hate to see liquidations coming in, but if there's going to be liquidations, I'd like it to be shorts. Because right now, as we're talking, we can see the price of Bitcoin is breaking out. Ethereum is breaking out. Litecoin is breaking higher. Let's go and take a look at these. So right now, we just have a gap move from when we were just looking at it, talking about the RSI divergence, and we have a gap move there. That's awesome. A really nice surge there in Bitcoin prices. So let's continue on our entire stream, because this will be important to see and to categorize and to mark down where all of the other alts are. Look at that, $2.8 million short liquidated. Those were high leverage trades on what their stop loss is way too close. There's another liquidated short position, and we can see Bitcoin's just starting to do some dancing. That's on the hour bars. Let's go and take a look at the 1 minute bars. So there's the 5 minute, and there's the 1 minute bars. This is always fun to watch it go, and to see this right now live as we just went on, and it's all starting to take off. That's pretty cool. Let's go take a look at Ethereum. Really did some nice taking off right there. How about Litecoin? Kind of the same thing, doing some good moves there. And more millions of dollars liquidated. It does feel better to see. Oh, and look at the shorts piling on there too. People are not giving up on Bitcoin going down, so we'll see how this turns out over time. So thanks for tuning in and watching. Let's continue on and go through our spreadsheet now. Just a double check, you guys can hear my sound on the live stream. You can see what's on my screen. You see Bitcoin or Litecoin prices right now. If anybody's, I see we got a few people watching. Let me know if you can hear my sound. Let me know if everything's working over there properly. And then I'll continue on. And we'll get this done relatively quickly here today. Okay, looking at the 3-month view of Ardor. Ardor was giving us a nice bottom formation. It was looking great. We had the moving average crossover, and then we had it crossover again, which told us to get out. Now, prices, and we'll see this on all sorts of different coins, is that they are coming down to making like a double bottom formation here. So right along this line, we can see prices are right on a double bottom. And so when we zoom in on this price and we zoom in and we can start to see this is a little bit of a bowl-shaped bottom with some pre-pump candles going on there. And the RSI is diverging from the price. So the price is pretty much flat, but the RSI is showing strength accumulating. We were just talking about that in Bitcoin. Awesome. Thank you very much. Ayrton, great to have you here. Let me drag this chat down here to where I can see it better. Awesome. So now I think we're going to identify a ton of opportunities. A lot of these markets are at these bottoms like this. They came down hard because Bitcoin came down, and now Bitcoin is showing some confidence and breaking out of what looks like the similar formation to Ardor right now. So I am anticipating that many of these coins that we're going to look through are going to be taking off. And yet we're looking to find things that match the simple trading plan, which means that we're looking for things that are going to be breaking out of a bottom formation, not things that are laying along the bottom of the bottom formation. Even though they might be great purchases, this is a different trading plan to enter on this kind of low point. It's not wrong, it's not invalid, and it's actually could be a very great thing to do. Hey there, Don. Good to have you tuning in. Another long liquidated. What is going on? So we zoom in on this. Somebody put their long on at the top of this wick and it came back down and that liquidated their position. That would be such a pain in the ass to have a $300,000 position liquidated that fast. So it is a really good example though to have this happening live about the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and where to be getting in, no matter what size it is. If you're day trading, this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that you would want to get in on the breakout and not be jumping in after it's wicked up like this or candled up like that so fast. You gotta wait. That's the FOMO, and it'll get you killed every time. It'll you get whipsawed. You jump in when it's going up and it comes back down against you. It's just the wrong time to be getting in. So we had a let's see. Arrowman1256 asked a question about a coin, if he should get into it this morning. And it's another one that's along these long lows, flat, and there's not very much volume going on in it. And it's actually the right time to be getting into a coin. And it's when it's laying flat and there is a little bit of low volume. As long as it's a good project and it's making good chart patterns, you want to get in when the volume's low and then not be chasing after it when the volume is picked up. So last time we talked about Ardor and we said that it was a near fail because it was down to those lows so close that it may have been ready to crack down lower than that. And so for the simple trading plan, I'm going to leave this marked as neutral now because it's not looking like it's threatening to go lower. But again, this is not going to come into a trading formation for some time yet, according to the simple trading plan, because it really needs to come up and break above these levels now. We have a new range that this now has to mature itself past in order to show us that the bull market is turning, and it's not just a little move within this range and then down after that. So this is a patient strategy that really requires the market to be actually changing direction and not trying to get something at this bottom position here. That's a different trading entry point, and even though it's maybe very valid and profitable to get in here because the risk to reward ratio is very favorable, it's not what we're actually trying to watch for here in this trading system for our trading signals. Basic attention token now. This one we got the buy signal here earlier because it broke out of the bottom formation. It was awesome, and it went up and did some great stuff, and it pulled all the way back, and it did not kick us out of this trade because we are using the 12-hour bars as our exit point. So the moving averages did not cross over, and it didn't say to exit. And this is a great example because with this trading methodology, you really, one of the weaknesses of it is that you must let the market have enough room to do this kind of move without kicking you out. And so then we're going to be staying in for the long-term trend, and with this trading system, you have to be willing to give up some of your potential profits in order to be in the market for those long-term gains. So you're giving up a little bit of profit now for the potential to make a much greater profit later. So if we zoom in on this into the 1 week view, we can see it made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here, and we had identified earlier that it had a divergence in the moving average relative to the prices here. So this was showing that even though it came down here, it was showing some strength. Got to say, there's another example of it right here. Prices popped up a little bit and then they faded off more. Now we have the second example. Prices have popped up and they're giving a much better 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. 1, 2, 3. And so a break above this level would be our add-on signal. And so I'll watch for that now. I'm going to mark that as an alert so that we may add on to that. So even though it's green, and we know that we're still in that position from the earlier stage, I'm going to mark it as an alert so that I'm going to be tracking the transitions from alert to purchase all the way along here. BNT. Too obvious. And this is one where I've got to go to Binance because it has more history. I like this chart instantly with these pre-pump candles happening, and we got a bottom formation, and we know that Bitcoin is giving some strength right now. All of this ties into a great looking chart pattern. And yet when we step back out to the simple trading plan, this is nowhere near ready for the simple trading plan purchase, because we're going to wait until it comes above these levels so that it has to finish this bottom formation and mature and show that the trend has changed directions before we're getting in. So we're not going to get in at the bottom, and we're going to get out before the top, or we're going to get out after the top. So it's really going to be interesting to watch this play out, different than many other trading strategies, and we'll just see how that goes over time. So I'll leave this marked as neutral. BCH is now not a coin anymore because it's split off to two different things, and I'll have to add those to the spreadsheet here. I don't have them in. BCN. Let's go back to Poloniex and bring it up. So BCN is laying along this bottom formation. It's going to need something more to wake us up and to get us to buy into it now. It's just laying flat, so it's like a whole number one spot here, and maybe you could call this in 2 and then a number 3, but really it's not doing it. And at the same time, when it does lay flat for a while and starts to tick up, that could be the indication of the next run I don't have a lot of confidence in this coin. There's a lot of other coins now that have much better technology. MIB coin, Crypto Kibo, good to have you here. Is this a coin that you want me to go and check out? MIB coin? MIB coin? I don't know that one. So BCN, I'll leave it marked as neutral. It's not doing anything. It's right down at low levels. It could fail and go lower, but we'll just leave it. Bitcoin, we see it went into a fail category on the 14th, 15th, and stayed in the fail category on the 16th. But I'm going to have to leave it neutral now because, of course, we just saw that it's got a whole new life. A whole new life now that has come down here and it's made a new bottom formation. So again, for the simple trading plan, we never did get a buy signal. And all the way since September when we were watching this all the way along here, there was no buy signal according to the simple trading plan. So we wouldn't have gotten into this and we wouldn't have taken any losses on this big dip down. So we're still waiting for, this is the new number 1 point, even though it's has gone so below the support and resistance levels, it is the new number 1 point in the downtrend. And we'll watch for that to make a number 2 and then a number 3 for the simple trading plan. And we'll watch for the moving averages to cross over. So it'll be a while for this one. And I'll leave it marked as neutral as well. BitShares. One second. There we go. Let's set the other computer onto a quieter mode. So BitShares came down, broke below this triangle. Zoom in and it's gone down and down. It's not even making a nice bottom formation here. So I'm going to leave it marked as I'll upgrade it to a near fail instead of a fail. It's still a negative mark on it. Let's go take a look at Burst now and see what's going on with Burst. So Burst was almost doing good here, and then it came down into the fail territory. Zoom out to the 1 month view, the 3 month view. So it is a new number 1 point there, and it's going to take a while for this to build us up a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation to be able to trade with the simple trading plan. So I'm going to leave it marked as a fail because it hasn't come up above those levels yet. Clam is also going to be marked as a fail. Zoom in on this. Maybe I can go near fail, but it had a pretty strong candle wick down there that it's been having a few different times, and that's alarming actually. So it's not giving us pre-pump candles, it's giving us pre-fail candles. So I'm going to have to mark this one as a fail. Civic Coin was a near fail last time we looked at it. Let's zoom out to the 3 month view. There we go. So we see that it was running up in this parallel channel very nicely, then it dropped out of that channel and came down, and it dropped out of this channel and started from the peak dropping before Bitcoin did its drop. And then as Bitcoin did, so did Civic Coin crack down further. As we zoom in on it though, we can see that the prices have been descending, but the relative strength index has been increasing. So given that it has a little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here, it really could be a good entry point if you're willing to be ready to close that trade if it doesn't prove you correct, because it's down at these historical lows and it could be a good springboard trade entry there. Doesn't match what we're looking for the simple trading plan. So I'm going to move it up a category from a near fail to neutral for now. I can't do that. It's got to be a near fail. It's too close to the bottom. It's still too close to that bottom there. It's very near failing. A little tick down and it's going to be marked as a failure. So can't do neutral until it's up a little bit. Let's take a look at Dash. So Dash is still neutral. It's not a near fail. It's not looking like it's going to be breaking out to buy, but it's not looking very nice that it's broken down below this big triangle here. If we zoom in, it's a pretty important break below that triangle with some big candles to the downside. So it remains neutral for now, but it could be crashing down further and become a near fail soon by the look of it. Just by the momentum there. It's very different than we see in some of the other coins coming up. Decreed, we had the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We had the breakout just before Binance listed it, and then prices went and rocketed up, and they've come all the way back down to where we actually had to call it a cold fish because these moving averages crossed over, and that's our get out signal, and we're just going to reposition again. However, it is coming right along. You see that white line there. It's right along some really key important support and resistance and staying within this new channel. So when it breaks above this channel, it's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It could be a good entry signal, but we'll be waiting until it breaks above these levels here before the simple trading plan will engage that market. So we got a lot of them that are looking pretty good, but not matching what the simple trading plan is looking for. So now zoom out in Digibyte. We can see that massive triangle from earlier in the year that was so delightful to look at and caused so much anticipation as prices were making these moves. And then down it went into this pretty strong range. It's hit a bottom and may be making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in here. And may be that you can see the 1, 2, 3. Should it break above this and start breaking out of this channel, it may actually be a buy signal. But for the simple trading plan, it's got to make a pretty good bottom formation there before it can be turning into a signal. And the moving averages have to cross over, so it'll be a while for this one for the simple trading plan. So that's Digibyte and Dogecoin. Doge is actually a pretty interesting coin and pretty attractive to me right now at this level. As it's come down to these levels where it's hesitated before and done some great moves, it's very interesting to see it coming down to these levels, especially when it's inside this descending parallel channel and it's making a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation inside that channel. Should it break above and outside of that channel, that'll be, it's a signal. It's just a shorter term signal than the simple trading plan. It'll take a little bit of time before these moving averages cross over for the simple trading plan to have a buy signal in this. But it's neutral. Get another neutral. EOS. EOS dropped out of this triangle formation. It's still staying inside this bottom, however, staying within these technical ranges. And so the moving average has crossed over and crossed over again, and we are looking at the 12-hour bars. So it's neutral. It's still in between the bottom and the top here. Nothing to do, hands off, just keep watching it. Ethereum Classic was a fail, and it's still a fail. If we zoom in on that, the 3-day view, the moving averages and the relative strength index don't give me any warm feelings about it. It may take off, but it doesn't get upgraded. Stays as a fail. Ethereum, on the other hand, is looking much better. It's got a nice triangle shape here. When we zoom into the 1-day view, we can see that it has a couple skewers to the downside, and those may be our capitulation lows. And then we've just seen a little tick of strength here in Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin all at the same time. So this could be some bullish pre-indicators. Now for the simple trading plan, we're still waiting for it to break above this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It could be a break above these levels with that moving average crossover. And it may be up at these levels where it's breaking past these old, larger number 2. So that'll be also interesting to see, but there's nothing to do according to the simple trading plan here. In fact, that just leaves being marked as neutral. Factum has been a fun one to watch. It has absolutely taken off on news announcement of a partnership with a real estate firm of some sort I saw on Twitter, and it's been inside this parallel channel and taking off. In fact, it's probably a good idea to adjust this channel. A little bit wider so that it's taking into account these new tops and bottoms. Stretch it out so we'll see. And it was pretty cool to watch it over the last day and a half as it was coming sideways and coming up to this channel, and it seemed like it just hit something solid and bounced straight up, like somebody threw it sideways and it just bounced straight up. Really interesting. So this has been a great one, and it's been a buy signal for a few days here, so it's really making some nice paper profits. Game is doing what the other ones are doing. It's coming down to making almost a stable bottom there. It's going to need more time to do something for the simple trading plan though, because it was in this nice narrow range and then it dropped out of that, and pretty hard too. So now it has to create a whole new bottom formation from this starting point here, and we'll see how that turns out over time. But right now I'm going to still mark it as a fail. It needs to show a little bit of strength off of those levels to pick it up to a near fail. Let's see what happened with gas. Okay, gas is still a near fail. It came down and it's hovering there as Bitcoin has also gone sideways. So I'll mark it as a near fail again, and we'll add that to our spreadsheet results. GNT Golem Network token. Oh, really? Took a skewer down here. And the moving average, I mean the RSI does not give us any divergence indicator that this may be going up. In fact, we can see the divergence showing that the top was in here, and sure enough it's fallen out of that. What happens when we go to a longer term perspective, because this is right on the edge of the historical prices. So pretty much right back to more than a year ago. It's come all the way back, and we had this nice uptrending channel. It fell out of the channel, the moving averages crossed over, and it's given us some pretty stronger weakness here today. So I'm going to put that one as a near fail. And we'll monitor that over time. I keep doing the wrong one here. Hunter coin was a fail and then a near fail. And it's still a near fail. Now it would have to go down to new levels again to become a new level of failure. So right now I'll leave it marked as a... Hello Dan, thanks for tuning in. Good to have you here. If you guys have any questions or specific coins you want me to stop and go over, I will be happy to. Other than that, I'll just keep going through this list so that we get this spreadsheet done. And then at 5 o'clock today, there's going to be a premiere video released. I've already did the editing, and I recorded the video over the last couple days. And then I did the editing this morning and got it all prepared, and I've uploaded it. And it's a different format of tutorial, and I hope that it really helps. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's a hit. I hope people like the new format, and I'm interested to hear your feedback on that. KNC, I think we have to go over to Binance and look for Kyber Network token. So here's another one that was a bottom formation, came up and gave us a buy signal, and then it turned around and gave us the cold fish, told us to get out. And then after that, it came down another 20%. It came down to brand new lows. So that's why it was marked as a fail in the chart, because it came back past old lows. But now it's making a little wee bottom formation here, a little wee bottom formation. And also keen to see how this support and resistance line, this was support, it was support, then it broke that support, and now it's resistance. So as it breaks above that resistance, that's a pretty key spot. But now for the simple trading plan, this is its new bottom formation. And if we were watching, and I can't show it in this chart, it doesn't have enough history, but last November and December, we had maybe a similar thing happen with altcoins, but Bitcoin was doing something completely different. The altcoins were all making bottom formations, and they were just breaking out at the end of the end of November, sorry. And then at the beginning of December, they all started breaking down further, and it showed that November was just a fake out breakout. Now it went down in December, but it only stayed down there for maybe a week at the most, and then everything blasted off and went up to higher highs than that was in the January before. And so it may be with these things as well. So we have to be ready with a shorter term 1, 2, 3 bottom formation option. Since this has come down to new lows, it gives us the opportunity to treat this as a whole new number 1 point and not have to wait for the whole bottom formation like we have to in Ardor. Ardor didn't come down to a whole new number 1 point. It made a double bottom. And so then it puts the entry point way up above the number 2 point. But for this one, it's got a new number 1 point. It can have its own number 2 point down inside here, and we could take that as our trading action. And that is KNC. I guess I'll mark it as a near fail again, because it's so close to the bottom. Now, let's go on to library credits, and then Loom. Library credits. All right, they held on. So we've got a bottom, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here, and it still gives us the same entry range for this coin that we've been watching for the last couple weeks. So that's good. I'm glad to see that it held its position there. I'm going to mark it as a near fail because it doesn't have to go far down below this price to become a fail. Loom was a buy signal, and then it turned into a cold fish. Let's go and see how far it went. Do we have enough data on? We have enough data where it's still in between. It's not pressing on the lows. It's not pressing up at the highs. So it's definitely a neutral market hanging out in the middle. Nothing to do there. Then we have Lisk as the next coin. Lisk is marked as a fail. It came down to these new low levels all the way along. And so this one still remains a fail. Hey, Philip, I think the bull run is on its way. This is what we're monitoring. We're watching over and over again to see how close we are to the bull run. And the theory is that a wave may come in and we'll see a couple of the coins go up in prices. But when the tide comes in, all boats are lifted. So when the tide comes in, and that's the bull market in cryptos, then all of these cryptos are going to be going up. They'll all be lifted in price. And so what we've been doing is tracking them over time and then charting how many good signals do we have, how many bad signals do we have, how many neutral signals do we have. And over time, we can, over time we can start to see that trend manifest. And on the 14th and the 15th of November, we can see that the alts took quite a hit, and many of them went into near fails or fail positions, which means that they went below the lows of August, September, October, or were really pressing on those lows. Now that we've resisted those lows, they are turning into a different trading signal, and we'll go through and check those out. Just to track them all and keep tracking them and keep tracking them and keep tracking them. Litecoin. So Litecoin made a big skewer down here, which gives us a new number 1 point. And that was a fail as it was breaking below these lows and below these lows, and it actually failed down below. Now, however, it's like many of the others. It's actually consolidating here on the 1 hour bars. We see the 1 point on the 1, 2, 3 bottom. Then we see a number 2 point, and it's sort of made a bowl shape here and showing a bit of strength. At the same time, the Bitcoin is doing much the same, kind of a bowl shape pattern and a bit of strength. So that's very bullish for Litecoin. And if I take this indicator and draw this way, we can see what a channel this has been in all the way down. And so now that it's made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and it's pressing against the top of this channel, if it breaks out above here, this is an added confirmation to see that it's breaking out of the trend, the parallel channel trend line. And we're also seeing this moving average diversion or divergence. At the same time that all these things are happening, that this really helps confirm if it's an entry signal or not. So it could be an entry signal just the way it is, but for the simple trading plan, it's going to be a while. We'll be wanting to see the thing turn around and then break above these support and resistance levels, which when we zoom out there, it's a pretty small range. But for the simple trading plan, it will wait for this long-term thing before it turns into a buy signal. For a different trading method, a swing trade entry, this and the parallel channel breakout along with the RSI divergence is also a trade signal, just different than what we're looking for in the simple trading plan. And so I will leave that as neutral now. MadeSafe coin was a buy the other day, and it remains a buy. We can see that the parallel channels that it is within are pretty interesting as well. For example, as this was coming down or coming across to its own parallel trend lines, as soon as it came down and touched these levels, it's like it bounced off something. It's like it hit something hard and it bounced straight up off that. If I zoom in, we can see where it just came and touched this and then really bounced hard straight up off that. And it's amazing to see how many times these parallel trend lines hold once they get established. And I'll talk more about that today in the premiere. Mana coin was a buy signal, and it's showing more strength here. So it was a good buy. And that's it. There's no add-on signal here that jumps out at me. So it's still just a buy and an awesome one. Navcoin did some good stuff and then not so good. So Navcoin was building its way up. We saw this buy signal and it looked like it was building an internal 1, 2, 3 bottom and going to be taking off to be adding on to this position. But then it came to the point of this triangle and just went boop, dumped down. As I was pointing out the last couple of videos, I believe, it is still holding right at these levels of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation from before. And that is very good. It shows that the insiders have enough force there to keep it at this price level. So when we zoom in on this, what does it tell us? It is giving us a little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The moving averages are diverged. And I don't know, I don't see a real trend, parallel trend line, even in the smallest time frame here, that it's breaking out of. So it doesn't quite fit that trade thinking. But at any rate, I'm going to leave it marked as neutral. What did I have it as before? Neutral. Good. Namecoin is actually up to a near fail. And sure, there it is. It still remains a near fail. It's got to break out of this downtrend line. It's got to give us the moving average crossover. So it's in this parallel channel downtrend line. It could be a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here, but it has to break above these levels. Certainly at least above these levels here before it can be a buy signal from where it is. And so I'll leave it marked as neutral as well. NXT, I got to mark it as a near fail. It's still too close to the bottom for being light on it. It's better to be more cautious. NXT. It's a fail. It stays a fail. So it came down pretty hard when Bitcoin did. And if we zoom into the 15-minute bars, it's not making a nice, clean enough form, 1, 2, 3 bottom formation for me, actually. So I'll leave it marked as a fail as it was. and I'll leave that. OMG. OMG 3-month is actually staying within its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and looking pretty good. We see that the descending line here in the triangle, but it is a descending wedge triangle, so that's generally a bearish indicator, a bearish sign. I'm going to leave it marked as neutral because it's ticked up off of these bottoms here, and if it were to be breaking above these levels, this would be confidence building in the market. So I'll leave it marked as neutral and go on to Omni. All right, Omni is doing better than most of the others. It's still within its 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and if it breaks above these levels, that'll be a buy. So it remains neutral, and I'm going to mute myself while this fire truck goes by. I think we've got a second one coming by here. Must be a bigger event. There we go. So Pascal coin is going to do very well, I believe. I like this chart pattern. I like that it made the bottom formation. It's pulled all the way back, and here comes a third fire truck. Okay, that was the fire marshal, not the fire truck, and he's following along. Anyway, this bounced off this trend line very nicely and has been showing strength before Bitcoin started to wake up. So this is pretty positive. I like it. This is a great chart pattern. But does it give us a buy signal? It's legitimately a buy signal coming off of this trend line. But now for the simple trading plan, I'm going to wait until it breaks above these levels. We've got to get this moving average to cross over again on this 12-hour bar chart. So we're going to wait for this bull to prove itself a little bit more, and then we'll take our chunk out of the middle instead of trying to get in at the very bottom. And so it remains neutral. Pascal and PPC. Oh, Pascal, we already did it as a buy signal. When did we do that as a buy signal? Okay, from October the 26th. Let's go and take a look at that again. October the 26th. Oh, right in here. All right, so we did take this internal 1, 2, 3 bottom, and as that's moved over, we give it a buy signal, and I guess it remains a buy. It never did come back and cross over the trend line. The moving averages didn't cross over, so it stays a buy. And I'll stick with that since we've already put it as a buy, and I'll update the spreadsheet about the profit and losses on that with two different analysis: the profit and loss if we had used the 12-hour moving average, and the profit and loss if we had used the 4-hour moving average. You can see we would have been kicked out of that trade and having to get back into it now. And it's one of the reasons I use the 12-hour bars, because it filters out a lot of the jumping in and out and in and out and in and out, which is crazy. PPC. All right. PPC gave us this buy signal. It never did tell us to get out. The moving average didn't cross over, even though it pulled back this much. And this is one of the limitations of using the 12-hour bars, is that a lot of your paper profits can evaporate, and then it turns into a very small profit or maybe even a small loss. But we're keeping these positions open in this time frame so that we are there for the potential of much bigger gains if it really is a bull market. So this one keeps us in, even though it's done all that swinging around. Same as basic attention token, it never kicked us out. Quantum actually did kick us out. It gave us the buy signal, it kicked us out. It's pulled back very nicely now at these great support and resistance levels. I'll leave it marked as neutral, not a near fail now. And Rep, what were you doing? So rep is inside this longer 1, 2, 3 bottom formation now, and it did give us the cold fish. So it won't take long for this. If it's going to be stepping up a little bit, we'll wait for it to break above these levels, and that'll give us the buy signal. Even if the moving averages cross over first, wait for it to break above these levels, and maybe even, it'd be good to push past some support and resistance here to show that it's really changing directions and not just doing a wave. So I'll leave that as neutral. SBD was actually a buy signal. This is Steam dollars, and it's supposed to be a stable coin. It did give us the buy signal here, and it's holding its own there. We'll leave it as a buy, and we'll see what goes on with that afterwards, because I'm of the mind to remove that from the list here, because it is supposed to be a stable coin. It's not that stable though. Saya coin is now right back at these bottoms all the way along, and if we zoom in, it's come down and then gone flat along the side, while the RSI is showing a bit more strength here, and that can be a favorable thing. It could be a place where this is going to turn around and go back up, especially since it's at such important historical levels, and touching there now with that RSI divergence, that's pretty good. So this would be a springboard variation of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation entry point right there, for those of you that have read up about that more in the course. I'll leave this marked as neutral now then. SNT is one that we've got to go to Binance and take a look at. SNT, it's a nicer formation here. It hasn't faded back. It didn't run up and then fade back more. It kept us out of the market until now. So a break above these levels would be very nice, but there's nothing to do right now. I'll leave it marked as neutral. So it's moved up to neutral now. Steam was a fail. Let's go down to Steam. Yes, indeed, it did fail. It went down below these levels. Now, if we zoom in to see what's actually going on, we have some pre-pump candles from these low levels. This is a new number 1 point, so now we have to wait for it to come up, maybe retest some levels, fall back down and retest these levels, and then take off to go higher after that. So there's a little bit of time to wait in this one now that it's gone down to those fail territories. I'll leave it marked as a fail, but probably tomorrow it'll be marked as neutral if it does anything at all. Storage coin was also looking really great, and I was had a lot of anticipation, but as soon as Bitcoin cracked, this fell down too. So it's down to these support levels. If we zoom in, it's actually showing the divergence. So we can see this RSI is showing a divergence here. So it's going higher where the price is coming down. It needs to stabilize and give us a turnaround before we can call it anything at all. But I'll leave it neutral because it is not pressing down against the old lows, and it's not near the tops. It's sort of hanging in the middle, neutral, sort of do nothing with it and just watch it for now until it gives us an indication of the direction it's actually going to be taking. STR, or XML, however, is really looking great. You can see those parallel lines where it's coming up to the top of that. It's been showing some really bullish patterns and some strength. However, we can see here that the prices were going higher and the RSI was diverging from it. So this was telling us that there was some correction along the way to be coming up. However, it's still way above our buy signal, and still we're long into this entry, and it remains a buy signal. Strat. So Strat came down and made into a fail, and it has to restart again from here in this bottom formation, but it does have a pretty good small range here. Once it breaks above that, it's got a very small range compared to what it's done in the past. So for the risk to reward ratio is pretty awesome, and no worries to be waiting on this one for it to really turn and really show that the market is taking off. So is it a fail or a near fail? I think because it's come down twice, the RSI didn't diverge much there, and then prices have come up a bit. It's not a near fail anymore. I'll leave it as neutral. Syscoin. So it's come down and bounced here. The RSI is a little bit of a divergence from the price. So if I take the magic eraser and erase whatever I was talking about there, get rid of this old stuff, we can see this is downtrending, this is uptrending. So this is telling me that something is going to go on with Syscoin itself. But it doesn't fit in with a simple trading plan. We're going to wait till it breaks above these levels here, so it's going to be a while before it moves around and then comes and changes direction to go up above these levels. So we're seeing all sorts of markets that are really lining up, but not for this trading system. They're good for a different trading entry criteria. And I hope that the distinction of one trading system to another is helpful, because one trading system would jump on this and gobble it up, whereas the simple trading plan is looking for a larger move, a larger presence, and a larger evidence of the change of that bear market or sideways market into the beginning of the bull market. And so this one was a buy, and it has the moving average crossover. So did I mark it as a cold fish already? Yep. So now we're resetting it. It's neutral because the moving averages are still crossed over, but the price is hanging down here and not going lower than the prior stuff nearby. VTC. Of course, this was a fail and remains a fail. Counterparty, XPM, XCP, I'm sorry. It stayed above these levels. It didn't crack down like many of the others. Maybe it's because it's already gone down this far and just finally has settled in. We could probably stretch this downtrend all the way along here. So when it made this bottom and then went off sideways, there's the beginning of our bottom formation setting up. So it was a buy signal. Now it's giving us the moving average crossover. So I'm going to have to mark that as a cold fish, and we'll follow that over time to see what actually happens with this market. XEM. All right, so we had that buy signal earlier. Prices blasted off. They've come back and consolidated. If I zoom into the 1 week view, there's not a lot of people purchasing it yet. It's a great chart pattern, and it resisted breaking lower as Bitcoin went down. So that is very bullish, actually. Now that it's made this pattern, it's a great add-on position that's just building up. I won't put it as an add-on yet, but I will put it as an alert. So then we can add on to that, much like we saw in basic attention token, where I made that one an alert because it could be the point for another add-on. XMR. All right, so it's still within this massive triangle. It's not down to new lows, so it just remains neutral. If we had a position, it's already been marked as a cold fish, and it just remains neutral now. Now XPM, on the other hand, it's down, 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 down. Now we have the RSI divergence. Price is coming down. It's making a potential bottom formation. We have a very strong parallel channel to work with. So when it makes that bottom and starts breaking out of this parallel channel, that's another way we can be taking action. But it still remains a fail for now. Ripple used to have a bad rap. All of the cryptocurrency purists said Ripple was not a real cryptocurrency. It wasn't decentralized. The it doesn't have decentralized nodes. It's an internal blockchain. However, it is actually integrating with the banking system in the world in such a way that it could be taking over Bitcoin as top market cap. This is interesting in that as we zoom in on it, as it's made this run up, it made a double top. The RSI was going a big strong divergence down, 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 and now the price has taken a bit of a setback. According to the overall trade, though, this is not a setback at all. It doesn't really matter at that kind of range, because we had our buy-in signal down here, and then we had an add-on signal here. So this has turned into a very nice profitable trade for our simple trading system. Very nice example of a good profitable trade. So it remains the same as it was before, which is the added on to buy order. Zcash. Look at that. That's looking pretty good, actually. This is a really nice looking formation, and it did not crack too hard when Bitcoin came down. So when it breaks above these levels, that'll be an add-on. And maybe even just, no, it won't be an add-on. This should be our initial entry, because we got the cold fish signal. Up. I don't know. Let's go and see. For certain, it's a buy signal if it breaks above these levels. It's nice and clear. Now, I've already got it marked as a buy signal. From when? From November 8th, just 10 days ago. November 8th. So we were calling this as the bottom formation. This is the bottom formation, and the moving average crossover was our buy. Okay, so I'll respect that. We did the buy, we made that decision earlier, and it's staying above, the moving average is staying above. It came back and retraced this, but nowhere near like the other ones did, so that's great. We know when we'll have our add-on signal on this one as well now. When it breaks above the 1, 2, 3 bottom, the larger 1, 2, 3 bottom, that'll be our time. ZRX. Good thing we paid attention to the moving average crossover. So we saw the 1, 2, 3 bottom. We bought into it. Then Coinbase announced that they were going to list it, and prices came up. They've come back and down, 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 and then Bitcoin cracked, and this is sort of stabilizing. So now I'll leave it neutral in between signals. Yeah, just like last time. So we have one market that's the add-on to buy. There will be a day where I'll have all these added automatically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Green. Less than last time. Alerts. We actually have 1, 2. Looks like 2 alerts. And those were greens that we're putting as an alert for adding on to those. But they're counted as positive, both of them. Now neutral, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 of them. $25 neutral. Gone cold. 1. And near fails now. Those are getting cleaned up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 this time. And fails 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that 1 less. There's a good change. And let's go see what that does to our chart here now. I need to add it in row AT. Edit chart, row AT, and I'm going to hit enter. That gave us a better change. We see a lot more neutral, a lot less negative, but no more new positives. So this is according to the simple trading plan as well. There's other ways to approach this that are just as important, but this is what I've been trying to stick steady to, so that we're looking to buy on strength out of the breakout of the bottom formation. And that is, to me, a confirmation of the bull market starting. But we've seen already here that the fake out breakouts are a great potential. So we saw the bottom formation, we saw some buy signals turn in, and then they turned into cold fish. They said get out, because even though the prices were looking great there in October, the very beginning of November, and they were starting to break out above into a nice bullish formation, they pulled back on us. Now we're starting all over again and watching from here. And we'll keep doing this day after day, or every 2 days or thereabouts, for the live streams, to keep this spreadsheet updated. And as we're going through, we're talking about more options than just the simple trading plan. That's what we're tracking. But we're also recognizing that there is a different way to play these kind of retracements at historical levels when we are in a position like this. It's really key to pay attention to that. And that is the routine. Now, if you guys have any coins you want me to go over, or any questions at all, fire them off in the chat. I'm happy to go over them. And if you haven't already, come and join us in our Discord chat. There's a link down below this video so that you can come over to Discord and follow up with us. We're talking about these markets all the time, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you put in there. And if that's it, then I'm going to sign off, and I'll invite you guys to come to the premiere video at 5 o'clock, where I'm going to talk a lot more about how these parallel trend lines can be used for trading. Some very specific recommendations there, and I'll show you how this has been working. Michael Scott, take a look at Man. I'd be happy to. I don't think I've looked at this one. You're welcome, Dan. I hope this is helpful. Mana? Man on Bitfinex. Well, it's not moving very much. And it's a very new coin, so it's much harder for the simple trading plan to digest a brand new coin. It's really got to take its time to come down and make a bottom formation first. So the simple trading plan has 3 criteria. First is to look for the lowest price on the downtrend. So if I go back to Mana, just because it's right there. At least this it doesn't have very much history either, but it has enough history that we can grab a downtrend line. Then we can find the lowest price in that, see the price come up and pull back, and then it gives us the entry point like we saw here. So it's enough of the downtrend break, so it's broken that downtrend line, it's changed directions enough there, and then it's made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and broken above that level with the moving average crossover. So those 3 things together create the simple trading plan. And Crypto Kibo says, Mibcoin making mobile mining great again. Mobile mining, like mobile phones, they have more computing power than the computers that went and took the Apollo guys to the moon and back. But they have very limited computer power compared to the other mining machines that are out there. They have limited computing power compared to a good GPU. I mean, yeah, good graphics card. So that's pretty. Let's go and see what MIB. I've got to open up CoinMarketCap. stick it in here and find MIBcoin. It is MIB. What exchanges is this trading on? None of the ones that are working with Coinigy charts. So when I take a look at this, it's got very little market cap compared to like most coins. 300 BTC as the market cap it's got. And again, this is another one that doesn't have enough history for me to be able to analyze it according to the simple trading plan. This one, you would have to do it completely differently, and you'd have to just go on fundamentals. There's not a lot of technical price chart here to make technical analysis on. And so you'd have to know about the project. You'd have to know what world problem that it solves, and you'd have to know more about the team that's designed it and their history and their capability, their management, the developers, and from that you'd be able to make a decision if you wanted to put a little bit of money into it. But then you'd use regular risk control rules, even if you're just using fundamental analysis, which means that you would put on a part of your trade to begin with, and if it proves you correct, you would add on to that. So you put on a little bit of your trade, and if it doesn't prove you correct, you're going to assume that you're wrong, and you're going to take that trade off, because it's at 16 cents US right now, but it could go down to 4 cents. And if you put in money and you bring it, that's a lot of loss percentage-wise. And so it's important to use those risk control rules. And those risk control rules you can use for anything at all in life. So if you're starting a new hobby or something and you start with a little bit of your full investment, and if it proves to be working, then you add on to it, you do more. Wax. Now this is a price chart that is outperforming most everything else. Actually, Wax is one of them, where you see the downtrend line. There's the break of the downtrend line. Here's our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. There's the breakout where prices broke above it, and then they came back and tested the number 2 point. Very good. And then they've come up and they've made a consolidation here. I think this has got some great potential. And we're seeing all sorts of sell orders, millions of dollars of sell orders coming in on Bitcoin right now. Let's go and take a look at what's going on in Bitcoin. Zoom into the 5-minute bars. So there's a lot of sellers pumping in on this, but now there's some liquidated longs because they bought on this candle. People are, and it is a breakout. It is a breakout, right? But there's the risk control rules, where you buy in with a small part of your position and you add on when you're proven correct. You assume that you are wrong when you first put on the trade, and you take it off unless the market proves you correct. So these guys put on the trade, it started coming back against them, and they didn't close their trade. They didn't use risk control rule number 1. And they probably didn't use risk control rule number 2, which is to say that you have to add on to a trade when you're proven correct. And so you can't put all your money onto the trade. You have to put a little bit of your money so that you have some to add on to the trade afterwards. And I repeat these things over and over so that I'm teaching if there's some new people here about these risk control rules, but also because we're seeing all these liquidations of hundreds of thousands of dollars and $1 million positions getting liquidated because of this one little candle to the upside. Everybody got excited and jumped onto that. And now they're just getting burned. That's expensive and demoralizing at the same time. I don't know which is worse, the cost or the demoralization. Another market that has been doing really well this last while is Link, and I don't know enough about the project itself. Let's go to the 3-month view. So we're really looking at the longer term perspective to start off with. So as everything else was reacting to Bitcoin coming down, and as everything else was breaking out of their bottom formation and then fading back from there, even before Bitcoin broke down, this one has been showing strength and strength and strength again. We zoom into the 1-week view. We zoom into the, I gotta go back, I'm sorry. First of all, The price has done really great. It's in this this channel going up, and now it is right along to old historical price levels, which is generally a time where prices may come back. Once they've come up to old historical prices, especially it's been almost a year since they've been up this high, there may be a bunch of profit taking going on there. So we'll have to see. But it's at the top of its range. It made a bottom. It's just ticked up a little bit of strength right now as we're watching. So that would be great if it continues to go up. It's a good example of a coin that's doing different than everything else. And I don't know enough about the fundamentals of this coin to say what is the world use case that it's doing, what use is it solving. And I didn't research anything about the team itself. I didn't look at the project. I don't know enough about it myself, but I like the chart pattern. I just wanted to point that out because Wax was doing something different than everything else. So that's it for now. At 5 o'clock in 3 hours, we'll have the premiere event of the training that I put on, and it's a different format of video. So I hope you guys like it. And because it's a premiere event, it runs like a live stream where it's already published and edited and set up there, but it runs so that if you tune in at 10 minutes after 5, you don't start at the beginning of the video. You start 10 minutes into it. And because it's running like a live stream, there's a live chat going on there, and I'll be available to chat back and forth with you guys a little bit more than I can while I'm actually doing a live stream, because I'm focusing on doing while I'm also chatting. Whereas in the premiere event, it's all done. I'll just be there to chat and ask some questions. So thanks again for tuning in. Good luck in all of your cryptocurrency trading, and I'll sign off for now.